Thank you very much. Welcome to tonight's screening.
God, I want to see more movies like this, movies that are just creative for the sake of being creative and free.
We sold out the Elgin Theater!
My people! Toronto Film Festival!
Great films, they leave me feeling a little more alive and connected, and they remind me to laugh and hope and hurt and feel.
I just want to tell great stories, and I want to tell different stories. We don't only have to tell one type of story.
We gather together, which has been a site of human activity for more than 15,000 years. This land is the territory of the Huron-Wendat and Petun First Nations, the Seneca, and most recently, the Mississaugas of the Credit River. The territory was the subject of the Dish with One Spoon Wampum Belt Covenant, an agreement between the Iroquois Confederacy and Confederacy of the Ojibwa and allied nations to peaceably share and care for the resources around the Great Lakes. Today, the meeting place of Toronto is still home to many Indigenous people from across Turtle Island, and we are grateful to have the opportunity to work within the community. We're very excited to share today some of the feature films that will screen at the 42nd Toronto International Film Festival as we unveil the first round of our galas and special presentations.
You may have noticed we love movies in Toronto, and it seems the whole world has noticed as well. Over the years, we've welcomed the global filmmaking community here to share their films, and to see the trust they place in the hands of the Toronto audience really is one of our proudest achievements. But you want titles, so let's get to the titles.
An incredible amount of effort and support goes into creating the festival and running TIFF Bell Lightbox year-round. We'd like to extend a very special thank you to those who help make our festival dreams possible. Now, the lifeblood of TIFF is our passionate and dedicated staff and volunteers, including our board of directors, led by Chair Jennifer Torrey. Thank you to the dynamic and unbelievably talented teams who work tirelessly to make the festival and TIFF Bell Lightbox run smoothly for our patrons and guests. To our members and donors, thank you for sharing your love of film with TIFF. We are forever grateful for your support.
Just a couple of more thank yous, crucial to everything we do here at TIFF. We're so pleased to share that we've renewed commitments from our lead sponsor, Bell, and our major sponsors, L'Oreal Paris, Visa, and Visa. Their continued investment in TIFF is paramount in allowing us to provide a world-class experience for film lovers around the globe. We'd also like to acknowledge our major sponsor, RBC, and our major supporters, the Government of Ontario, Telefilm Canada, and the City of Toronto. And our major industry supporters as well, the Ontario Media Development Corporation and Telefilm Canada, for their continued support of our festival initiatives each year. We look forward to continuing our work with all of our partners during what promises to be an exciting year ahead. Now, today, many of our media friends are in the room. Hello, media friends. And also watching our live stream all around the country and the world. We thank you for being with us today and look forward to celebrating with you in September. Just one quick thing. If you're somewhere in public watching the live stream and you hear a title you were hoping for, do not squeal.
So over the years, cinema has expanded and evolved in countless ways, but there's always one constant. The heart of every film is the story. TIFF provides engaging experiences for our patrons and guests through the diverse films we screen here at TIFF Bell Lightbox 365 days a year.
Now, to seek out the best cinema from around the world and here in Canada, we rely on an incredibly talented international team of festival programmers who continue to surprise us with the gems they discover every year. We would like to thank our Executive Director and COO, Michelle Mayhew, the Director of Festival Programming, Kerry Craddock, Jason Anderson, Jennifer Barkin, Hayat Benkara, Brad Dean, Kathleen Drum, Lynn Crocker, Dimitri Epides, Giovanna Fulvi, Danis Goulet, Steve Gravestock, Peter Kaplowski, Michael Lerman, Elizabeth Muscala, Andrea Picard, Tom Powers, Kiva Reardon, Karina Rottenstein, Diana Sanchez, Teresa Scandifio, Jane Schuttle, Magali Samard, Natalie Samodiuk, and Jesse Wente. It's a big team, and that's only part of it. And to the filmmakers, sales agents, and distributors around the world, we thank you for sharing your films with Toronto audiences.
Now, there was a lot going on in Toronto in 1976. The Blue Jays were formed, the CN Tower opened its doors to the public, and three tenacious men launched the Festival of Festivals, which is today widely known as the Toronto International Film Festival. We're forever grateful to our founders, Bill Marshall, Hank Vanderkook, and Dusty Cole, for starting what is billed as one of the most influential celebrations of cinema worldwide. Sadly, Bill passed away earlier this year, but the legacy he left behind will endure. We dedicate this year's festival to his memory, and we thank all of our founders for their vision and their inspiration. And you may have noticed that Jonathan Demme was in the clip as well. And just a shout out to Jonathan, who was a huge supporter of the festival, was here last year, was here many, many years, and it's been over the years with lots and lots of films. So Jonathan, wherever you are, we miss you.
We're now in our 5th decade, and this is our 42nd festival. Each year we challenge ourselves to develop, to adapt, to build on our strengths. In 2017, we bring you a tighter, more focused selection of films, and we hope you have the opportunity to experience as many of them as you can.
Now to the films. So to this year's amazing lineup. Films billed in our special presentations program include highly anticipated features from critically acclaimed international auteurs, major statements on how we live now from some of the biggest names in film, and it includes also 13 world premieres. So we're thrilled to announce the following films in the special presentations program. Jonathan Dayton and Valerie Faris's Battle of the Sexes, starring Emma Stone and Steve Carell. Robin Campillo's 120 battements par minute, BPM, beats per minute. Anurag Kashyap's The Brawler, and Nora Twomey's The Breadwinner.
Luca Guadagnino's Call Me By Your Name. Gael Morel's Prendre le Large, Catch the Wind. Richard Eyre's The Children Act, starring Emma Thompson, Stanley Tucci, and Fionn Whitehead. Alfonso Gomez-Rayon's The Current War, starring Benedict Cumberbatch and Tom Holland.
Sebastian Lelio's Disobedience, starring Rachel McAdams and Rachel Weisz. Alexander Payne's Downsizing, starring Matt Damon, Kristen Wiig, Laura Dern, and Christoph Waltz. Sebastian Lelio's second film, A Fantastic Woman. Angelina Jolie's First They Killed My Father.
Xavier Beauvoir's Les Gardiens, The Guardians. Scott Cooper's Hostiles, starring Christian Bale, Rosamund Pike, and Ben Foster. Bornilla Chatterjee's The Hungry, starring Nazaruddin Shah. Craig Gillespie's I, Tonya, starring Margot Robbie, Sebastian Stan, and Allison Janney.
Darren Aronofsky's Mother, starring Jennifer Lawrence, Javier Bardem, Ed Harris, Kristen Wiig, and Michelle Pfeiffer. Maggie Betts' Novitiate, starring Margaret Qualley, Melissa Leo, and Julian Nicholson. Hansel Meda's Omerta, starring Rush Kumar Rao. Melanie Laurence Plongé, starring Gilles Lelouch and Maria Valverde.
Teddy Lucy Modeste's Le Prix du Succès, The Price of Success, starring Tahar Rahim, Roshdi Zem, and Mai Wen. Angela Robinson's Professor Marston and the Wonder Women, starring Luke Evans, Rebecca Hall, and Connie Britton. Chloe Zhao's The Rider. Mahama pleased, impressed, and sometimes mildly shocked by this film. And closing the program, we will feature Amr Salama's Sheikh Jackson. This is a new film that's come to us as a world premiere from Egypt. It's about an imam with an abiding love for the music of Michael Jackson. It's amazing this story hasn't been told before, but here it is. And now a sneak peek at some of our special presentations.
Would anyone else like to share? How about you in the back with the glasses, sir?
My name's Bobby, and I am an addict.
Hey, Bobby.
Hi, Bobby. You know, you folks aren't here because you're gamblers. You are here because you are terrible gamblers.
Okay, Bobby.
These folks don't need to stop doing what they're doing. They just need to get better at it. Who's dealing?
Please.
Who's in?
Hello?
Eureka, Billy Jean! It's Bobby Riggs. I had a great idea. Male chauvinist pig versus hairy-legged feminist. You're still a feminist, right?
I'm a tennis player who happens to be a woman.
Don't hang up.
And by the way, I shave my legs.
Billie Jean King, already a champion of women's rights, is now the most successful female player of all time.
I am not saying that women don't belong on the court. Who would pick up the balls otherwise?
Oh my gosh. There isn't a single thing I don't hate about Bobby Riggs.
You know what I'm doing? I'm cooking. I'm cooking. I won the triple at Wimbledon. I could beat Billie Jean King. Does she have the nerve?
Call Bobby. Tell him it's on.
So, Billie Jean, what do you want?
Now, don't get me wrong. I love women in the bedroom and in the kitchen.
What are you talking, Bobby? The more nonsense you spell, the worse it's gonna be when you lose.
I'm gonna be the best. That way I can really change things.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna put the show back in chauvinism.
Bobby's a clown. This whole thing's an act for him.
Business, sports, you name it. At the very top, it's a man's world.
It's when we want a little bit of what you got. That's what you can't stand.
40 million people are watching. The battle you've all been waiting to see.
No, I'm done talking. Let's play.
The battle of the sexes.
Je suis son frère, mais je suis aussi son agent, je suis son producteur, je suis son avocat, je suis son chauffeur, je suis son garde du corps, je suis sa mère des fois.
Merci, c'est tout pour moi, c'était...
J'aimerais faire venir une personne sur scène. Quelqu'un qui compte beaucoup pour moi, qui me donne confiance, qui me met aussi des gros coups de pression des fois. Mais sans qui ce spectacle n'aurait jamais existé. Linda. Tu connais Mourad? C'est lui le vrai comique de la famille.
Vous avez fait la photo sans moi, c'est quoi cette famille là? Je l'ai vu où? Je le mets là, regarde.
Ça va pas? Tu viens pas souvent nous voir? Ah, je taffe, ça va bien. Tu crois qu'elle va venir s'installer ici? Ça, tu le prends mal?
Non, pourquoi je le prends mal? C'est ta femme, c'est normal, tu veux construire. Je comprends.
Combien de places déjà ici?
6200.
Eh, fais-nous un petit sketch là. Je peux pas te faire un sketch là. Vas-y, celui du téléphone portable, vas-y.
Dégage maintenant.
Ferme ta gueule, toi. Ouais, moi,
Ferme ta gueule.
Je suis pas hypocrite.
Ferme ta gueule. C'est quand même une meuf de passage ici. Parce que je fais ça par contre, on dit ex-femme, mais on dit pas ex-frère.
Je voudrais quand même qu'on trouve une place pour mon frère.
Toi, t'en as envie? Parce que la famille, ça inhibe. Et un jour ou l'autre, ça crée des problèmes.
Je sais pas si c'est un mec qui me veut vraiment du bien, ou si c'est un type qui cherche un peu à me la faire à l'envers, tu vois.
C'est pas forcément l'un ou l'autre.
Les ennemis, c'est pas eux. Les ennemis, c'est ceux qu'on aime le plus.
T'as l'air de savoir un truc que je sais pas. Vas-y, dis.
Sois responsable à un moment donné.
Moi, je fais les choses bien. Lui, nique ma vie.
N'oublie pas que si t'as réussi, c'est grâce à moi. N'oublie pas ça.
If I told you about her, the princess without voice, what would I say?
Eliza, come on. Eliza, hurry, hurry.
She deaf?
Mute, sir. She can hear you.
You clean that lab, you get out.
This may very well be the most sensitive asset ever to be housed in this facility.
You may think that thing looks human. Stands on two legs, right? But we're created in the Lord's image. You don't think that's what the Lord looks like, do you?
This creature is intelligent, capable of language, of understanding emotions.
When he looks at me, he does not know how I am incomplete. He sees me as I am.
J'avoue, je n'ai bavé pas vous, mon amour. Avant d'avoir eu vent de vous.
The natives in the Amazon worship it like a god.
Get him out. What are you talking about? No.
You need to take it apart, learn how it works.
I don't want an intricate, beautiful thing destroyed.
We can do nothing. I'm sorry.
Don't do this, Eliza.
What is he saying?
Don't do this.
Oh, God, it's not even human. If I told you about her, what would I say? I wonder.
Go ahead. Unforgettable, that movie, and shot right here in Toronto.
At the Elgin Theatre. I don't
That's
know if
right.
you noticed the clip.
Next up, gala presentations, compelling stories and big stars. This year, the galas being screened at Roy Thompson Hall include Andy Serkis's Breathe, starring Andrew Garfield and Claire Foy. Ben Lewin's The Catcher Was a Spy, starring Paul Rudd, Connie Nielsen, Sienna Miller, Guy Pearce, Jeff Daniels, Tom Wilkinson, Paul Giamatti, and Mark Strong. Joe Wright's The Darkest Hour, starring Gary Oldman and Lily James. Paul McGuigan's Film Stars Don't Die in Liverpool, starring Annette Bening, Jamie Bell, Julie Walters, and Vanessa Redgrave.
Denise Gamse-Ergoven's Kings, starring Daniel Craig, Halle Berry, and Isaac Ryan Brown. Jennifer Bechwal and Nicolas de Poncier's Long Time Running, starring the Tragically Hip. Everyone's got to be there for that one. That'll be a hell of an evening. Haifa Al-Mansour's Mary Shelley, starring Elle Fanning, Douglas Booth, and Tom Sturridge. Hani Abu Assad's The Mountain Between Us, starring Idris Elba and Kate Winslet.
Dee Rees's Mudbound, starring Garrett Hedlund, Jason Clarke, Mary J. Blige, and Carey Mulligan. David Gordon Green's Stronger, starring Jake Gyllenhaal, Tatiana Maslany, and Miranda Richardson. Neil Berger's Untitled Bryan Cranston Kevin Hart film, starring Nicole Kidman and Bryan Cranston and Kevin Hart. Bjorn Runge's The Wife, starring Christian Slater, Glenn Close, and Max Irons. Susanna White's Woman Walks Ahead, starring Jessica Chastain, Kieran Hines, Sam Rockwell, and Michael Greyeyes.
Now here's a look at some of our gala films.
I have an emergency surgery to perform in Baltimore. I'll fly wherever I have to tonight to get there for tomorrow morning. Can you help me?
Sir, I think we may have the same problem. I have an idea.
So what's the rush?
I'm getting married tomorrow.
Oh, congratulations.
No, we're not.
We just met.
So what's your key to Idaho?
Medical conference. Are you a journalist?
Mm-hmm.
Haven't explained the questions.
Anyone? Alex, can you look at me? You really hurt your leg. Your phone's smashed. My phone has no signal, and we're pretty high up on the mountain. If we stay here, we're safe. If we leave, search and rescue, they're less likely to find us.
Look, I don't want to die up here because you're too scared to take a risk.
Someone's looking for us.
The pilot didn't file a flight plan. Nobody knows where we are. We're all we've got, me and you. We can go 3 weeks without food, 3 days without water, and 3 hours without shelter. We might die together, and I don't even know you.
We're not gonna die. Not today.
Alex! Alex!
It was just a dream. It was the best I've ever felt on stage. I wanted the shows to go on forever.
I did not think there was any chance in hell that we were going to make it.
He worked and worked and worked. I would have put my guitar down and walked off the stage with him in a second.
This tour was like a pipe dream.
Good night, everybody. I'll see you down the road somewhere, all right?
Listen up. This young lady here is running the marathon for Brigham and Women's Hospital. So skip around and tell it and donate to a good cause. I'm gonna be there at the finish line for you. I'm gonna make a big sign for you.
Doesn't show up for anything. And then he shows up.
There was an explosion, and your legs, they're gone, bro.
Welcome home. Is it good to be back?
What are you doing?
Talking to you. What are you doing?
Dancing. You're trying to make a hero out of me.
You need to tell your family what's going on with you.
Take my mind, take my pain.
I can't do this. I can't do it.
This is the first time you're in this week and you had 3 appointments.
You just have to show up for once.
I showed up for you!
You remind me of my son. He died. Helping you made me feel like I helped my son. And for that, I am grateful.
You're grateful.
You showed the world that they can't break us no matter what the hell they do.
There was this time in the hospital when I just want to give up.
Look at this. Marston strong.
And now, I just want to live.
I just want people to see how amazing my son is.
I'm gonna walk, I'm gonna walk with you again someday.
Something in my eye. Finally, we are thrilled to announce our closing night film, Olivier Nakache and Eric Toledano's C'est la vie, starring Gilles Lelouch, Suzanne Clément, Ai Haidara, and Jean-Pierre Bacry. Childhood friends, Nakache and Toledano have collaborated on a number of films, but they're best known for directing the 2011 global hit Les Intouchables, The Untouchables. In the pair's most recent collaboration, we see a glimpse behind the scenes of a wedding party through the eyes of people working on it. This movie is a lot of fun, and we're thrilled to be closing the festival with C'est la vie.
So this wraps up our first announcement of titles for the 2017 festival. Stay tuned, obviously, for more announcements throughout the summer, including our Canadian press conference on August the 9th. We look forward to seeing you at the festival, obviously. So now we're happy to take questions from any of you in the room. Mics are located at either of the entrances, so please identify yourself and the media outlet that you represent.
Hi, Nigel Hunt with CBC News. When do you expect to announce the opening film?
Right after this, we're going upstairs. We have some more work to do. We have several announcements between now and the end of August, so you will look for that sometime between now and then, probably around the middle of the next month. Other questions?
Anybody else?
It's a gentleman right here.
You could just get a mic, that'd be great.
Yeah, I have a mic that I'm holding now.
Fabulous.
I hear myself, but where is the PA mic again?
Over.
Thank you for your patience. My name is Michael Kramer from Classical 96.3 FM, News in Toronto, and Zoomer Radio. And I'm wondering, Dylan said the times they are a-changing, and in a time of travel bans and NAFTA renegotiation, fake news, the post-truth era, what challenges and opportunities are filmmakers facing these days who are coming to TIFF?
Well, the challenges, I think, are pretty extraordinary. I think it's very difficult for the independent filmmaker to continue to make films in the way they want to make them. There are some glimmers of hope on the horizon, but I think everyone is feeling the crunch. They probably felt it for the last 5-6 years, but I think increasingly when Cam and I and the programming team travel the world, we're talking to producers and filmmakers, they're finding it very difficult to make the kinds of films that we're actually showing at the festival. So that's probably one of the key challenges. Obviously, there's a plethora of material out there, too, at the same time to deal with. It's a moment of incredible transformation, disruption, change, challenge. So I think you'll see this reflected in the films we're showing, documentaries as well as the fiction films. It's a year, just the films we've announced, trying to get a handle on them, it's quite unsettled in a way. It's so difficult to kind of generalize when you're announcing so many films. But we kind of look up there, one of the ideas that struck me was the whole notion of survival. And it seems to be a topic that a lot of people are thinking about nowadays. But there's a bunch of other threads through the festival as well. I don't know if Cam wants to add to that.
No, what we find is that filmmakers can deal with the current situation in many, many different ways. And as we continue to announce films, especially the documentaries and some of the films from around the world, you will see films that are directly addressing how we live now. But some filmmakers are dealing with it in a more allegorical or symbolic way. And I think you can watch a lot of the films made in the last year or two that will be premiering and see how they speak to the current moment, even if they don't appear to be directly about it.
Second question, I've heard the festival described as leaner and tighter this year. Can you comment on that?
Sure. We are lucky enough to put together a festival that serves many, many different audiences. The main one is our public audience, which likes the range and the choice that we've offered them over the years. But we also have media and industry members who come to the festival in the thousands. And for them, it's tougher because they have to cover the festival, see as many films as they can. And we decided to try to maintain the choice and the range of selection for our public audience, but offer a tighter selection so that it would help all of the different people who are attending the festival take it in a more satisfying way.
Let's get realistic. It's one of the biggest festivals in the world. Right now, I would say publicly, in terms of the number of films we showed last year, it's the biggest. And by trimming it down just a little bit, we're about the same size, maybe a little bit smaller than Berlin, which is now number 2. So it's still an enormous festival. It's impossible to see everything. So I think there's going to be so many good films for the public and the media to see.
Thank you.
Hi, this is Isabel Inclán from Notimex. I would like to have to know your opinion, both of you, about Guillermo del Toro. I know TIFF invited him to some lecture, some presentation. He shot in Toronto. He lives in Toronto. So it's like a new acquisition from Mexico, Guillermo del Toro. So I would like to know what you feel about him according with your relation with him.
Well, he's a national treasure, obviously, for Mexican cinema. And the fact that he's decided to relocate here in Toronto is quite remarkable, to say the least. I mean, what he's added to the production scene here alone is staggering. And I think that he's centered for many international filmmakers, just the notion that Toronto is one of the key creative centers for film in the world. It's great to have him here, too, because he's done a lot of lectures on stage, on this stage here and a number of other stages around people like Hitchcock, Buñuel. So to have his knowledge, I mean, he is a true cinephile. He loves and adores cinema, knows it backwards. And of course, when Guillermo is here, he attracts a very, very young audience, a very different audience in many respects. People who've probably never seen a Louis Buñuel film in their life come just because it's Guillermo on stage. The Hitchcock's obviously a little bit different, but he's introducing Hitchcock to a new generation of viewers. So it's so wonderful to have him a part of the city. He's so enthusiastic. Whenever you meet him, you know, he's just got a natural enthusiasm about everything. You can just run an idea by him. And I'm really looking forward to seeing the show that he's mounting at the AGO. Later this year, I think it's going to come on. It's going to be really quite remarkable. So he's clearly having an impact on the city in all kinds of ways.
Short comment from Cameron?
Okay, I would echo what Piers said. I also admire most about Guillermo del Toro his passion. He loves cinema. He loves to share cinema and his ideas about it with the audiences. He's done it here many times. And his new film is just spectacular. One of the most beautiful films I think we've seen all year, The Shape of Water. But I think the Toronto audience is going to appreciate it most because as you watch it, you will recognize certain sites here in the city. And I think it's going to be especially pleasurable to watch it here as a Torontonian.
Thank you.
Hello, how are you? I'm Becky from Epoch Times. Will there be an Asian film summit this year?
We will certainly have many Asian films in the festival as we do every year. We've announced just about a quarter of our selection so far, so there's lots more to come, and you'll see many films from all of the major film countries in Asia, and a few new discoveries as well.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ulkor Alakbarbanda at moviemovesme.com. You know, every time when I attend the festival, it's quite sad to see that some filmmakers, they have their film being presented at the festival, but they never can attend physically because of, let's say, visa. And I wonder how much of support TIFF provides in terms of helping out those filmmakers, perhaps for the first time ever, their film to be shown here, to attend the premiere.
Here in the building. Yeah, we actually show a lot of the films at the festival here at TIFF Bell Lightbox after the festival, so if that's what your question was referring to. We take that responsibility very, very seriously. We run a lot of Canadian films in particular that come out of the section. I mean, it's very difficult for a number of these films to go into theatrical release afterwards, and so we can provide a home for them, certainly here at TIFF Bell Lightbox.
On the visa question, we have a team here that works with